So the Saints last week they played Brisbane in out of Melbourne. This week they play Melbourne in out of Brisbane. AFL football national.
Absolutely
and
perfect
only growing.
conditions.
It is perfect conditions up here on the Gold Coast, and we better get used to it because there'll be a bit of footy up here in the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 years.
Well, Melbourne will have to be careful. They've got to Paul Johnson starting at centre-half forward, Mark Jamar in the ruck. But Sam Fisher is the gentleman that's got the job on Johnson, and they will be looking at Sam Fisher to give all the rebound. He will run. They're going to have to be on their toes defensively, the D's.
Well, Mark Jamar in for his first game of 2009 and into the ruck for his first palm of 2009 against Gardner. Hayes in outstanding form. Montagna likewise. Revolt likewise. Good fist by Warnock. Good start for him. Davey, little slap out. Bruce, Revolt, Jones, Baker, Jones, Hayes, Baker again. Good attack that time. Johnson, Bruce through traffic. Davey, it's slick movement at the moment. McLean missed the target with the handball. Green mops it up. Grimes, and to the open side they peel. It bounces for Frawley. He's away. Just didn't sit for him. Whelan hasn't got a lot of help. Maloney helps him now. Over the top to Jamar. Not really the running target you want. It comes off. Maloney, Sylvia, coming off the best game of his career. And he can't nail it, Colin Sylvia. 37 possessions and 4 goals last week. And he could be the difference tonight if Melbourne are to threaten the Saints.
It's a shame he couldn't give them the perfect start. He also had Stephen Martin on his right if he wanted to use him. We saw Clinton Jones involved a couple of times there earlier. The man they've earmarked for him tonight, Aaron Davey. That's the man for the Demons that the Saints want to close down.
It's been a fantastic addition through the midfield, Clinton Jones for the Saints.
Sam Gilbert, local hero, Southport Premiership player, and maybe on the Gold Coast radar when they start recruiting. Wobbles this to the outer side. Bruce couldn't grab it, but McLean does. Johnson, Bruce got the arms for him, and Loney again to set it up. In fact, he sets it up. Tough one for Martin, and good mark, Gilbert.
I think Gilbert will be on the radar list now that all Saints supporters are very happy to see Nick Riewoldt sign back up with the Saints earlier in the week, so that's good news for the Saints, but there may be a little bit more attention to the other Gold Coast representative in this team.
It's a 4-year deal for Nick Riewoldt, so he's going nowhere. Blake tackled, couldn't break free with it. And they're tackling well early, the Demons. Morton threw it out to the square, hoping someone was there. Del Santo, boundary line, the sanctuary for him, will get a ball in.
Looks like James McDonald following Nick Del Santo. And you mentioned Sam Gilbert. He's been assigned Colin Sylvia, the danger man from last week.
Jack Grimes back into play. Good hassling from McLean. Stopped any clear clearance. And a good spot for a ball up if you're a Demon. Too far out, you would think, to try and knock it through.
Plenty of numbers around the ball again, and that's been the way it's gone for the early part of this game so far. Plenty of numbers, plenty of pressure.
Bait was slam tackled to the deck. He was the bait. And they grabbed him and put him into the turf. We'll get another ball up.
There's only one pair in St Kilda's forward half of the ground. That's Kazitsky and his opponent, Jared Rivers.
Ball. Trying to slip it out. Bruce tried to do likewise, but he gave it back to Ball. And now they're away, although no one to kick too long. Heads wide. Revolt, boundary line lurking. Fisher. And into the congestion. Gwilt. Del Santo. Frawley. And he chased down and put a little bit of pressure on Goddard, and that was enough from Frawley. Tied up, and we'll get a ball up on the wing.
You called it there, Dwayne. Good pressure from Frawley, and especially off the ball. He was putting his body into Goddard, not allowing him free space to run into. So when he took possession or went to take possession, he was right on his tail.
Del Santo turned it off the deck. Kazitsky broke through everyone, but gave it up. McLean, he rolls it and almost gives it up. Gardner. Fisher, Ray, plenty of handballs so far. Gilbert, short, Gwilt on 50.
perfect night. He'll go close to getting the journey. He's not one of the biggest kicks in the competition, but it's a very still night.
Well, barely any breathe when you were downstairs in the pre-game. Your hair wasn't blowing at all, Alistair. It was...
What about mine, Dwayne?
Yeah, yours wasn't blowing either. James Quilt, long. Oh, just held up. That was Zephyr that blew your hair. Blew it back.
Lee Colwitz wasn't blowing there just before the first bounce either.
So behind a piece to start here. Not a bad crowd in on the Gold Coast, but not a full house by any stretch of the imagination. Frawley, and that's ugly.
Strange kick.
Schneider from 50, back to the square. Attempted a punch by Warnock, could have done better. Revolt, well, they don't need him firing, the Demons. But the Saints do, and he's got one.
I think it's fair to say that there's a bit of poetic justice in that, because it was a bit of a panicked spoil by Warnock. He could have taken the mark, and in the end it's his man, Nick Revolt, that kicks the goal.
That's right, just lack of composure and just uncertain about maybe your spot in the team, but certainly there was probably no talk around him to just tell him to take the mark and settle and set up for a thrust forward. But good goal for Nick Revolt to start with.
Dean Bailey and the crew. And they'll have their work cut out tonight, as they have had all year. Just the one win so far, and he knows Queensland fairly well. Dean Bailey, former Mount Gravatt coach, up here in the Queensland League. We'll get a secondary ball up, where he started his coaching career essentially, although he was an assistant coach at Essendon and Port Adelaide. Dean Bailey.
Melbourne centre half forward Brad Miller is a Mount Gravatt boy as well.
And the ball up. Jones gets the kick out of the congestion again, inside 50. Kaczynski, Quilt, wrap-up tackle, spectacular from Rivers. And he keeps it in there initially, and the umpire surely will sort this out and we'll get a ball up. He was coached by an ex-Saint as well, Danny Craven, wasn't he, at Mount Gravatt?
Yeah, Danny Craven coached I think a premiership to Mount Gravatt or West Brisbane, but he was certainly at both clubs as coach for a number of years.
Former Cat and Roo Robert Scott will be disappointed if I don't mention he was assistant coach that year. Davey chips it wide, McDonald from the wing, heads long. Gilbert and Zach Dawson teamed brilliantly there. Gilbert caught him in. Said, "You're Zach."
Ooh. Not the best kick, but it's found its target on the bounce.
Goddard to Blake. Back to Goddard with a little look-away handball. And a little too wide for Quilt. In fact, it's almost too wide for the boundary umpire. It's hit the line. We'll get a ball in.
We'll keep an eye on the stats between Lenny Hayes and also Brock McLean. They're going head-to-head. McLean with 3 touches, Hayes the 2 just at this stage.
Tough opponent to have, Lenny Hayes, as he taps this out. He is number 1 in the AFL for disposals per minutes played this year. Lenny Hayes averaging a disposal every 3 minutes, just ahead of Gary Ablett Jr., a disposal every 3 minutes and 3 seconds. From the ball in, and on the AFL logo, Matthew James has had enough. Holding the ball. The umpires tonight, Matty James, Stephen Grun and Chris Camelance. McLean. It's a touch back on Hayes, and a good one to Morton.
Well, Morton's actually got the job at this stage on Lee Montagna. They're trying to attack on him, not defend.
He got out of it well, kicked not so good. Gilbert couldn't mark it. Blake punched it. Bate handballed it. Bruce. Johnson's kick smothered, ricochets to his opposite 11, Montagna. He hands up to Hayes. Didn't get a great shepherd from Schneider, and for that poor shepherd, Schneider gets rewarded with a handball. To Hayes, to Revolt.
He didn't even know it was his free kick, because he was running back to the goal square. But he thought it was a free kick to Nick Revolt, who's done himself a bit of damage, I think. Maybe copped one right on the beak when he landed.
He's all but taken the mark anyway, but the work rate of Revolt to push right across the ground was extraordinary.
Hayes from 48 heads to the square. Gwilt got hands to it, and it's taken through for a behind. Did Nick Revolt just get a little bit of Warnock's fist to the nostrils, or was it the ground?
Well, I'm not sure, but he copped something there. It was all incidental contact.
Jones heads wide. Maloney. Outer side of Carrara to Bate. He thumps a long ball in hope, but the Saints have got numbers back. Gilbert, he spills it. Sylvia, well, he's already had a sider. Second chance, and nails it.
We've spoken about poetic justice already, Lynchy. The man that dropped the mark was Sam Gilbert. His man got the loose ball and kicked the goal. When you make a mistake in this game today, you get punished for it, and quite often by the man you're playing on.
And Sylvia was just ducking out the back there, and should have, as you're spot on, should have been an easy mark for Gilbert, but doesn't miss too often, Colin Sylvia, and that's a very handy goal just to close the gap on the Saints.
And we're starting to get our first look at why Melbourne took him as a priority pick. Pick 3 in the 2003 draft behind Adam Cooney and Andrew Walker. Just starting to blossom now.
And it would have been Sylvia, Farron Ray and Brock McLean,
yes,
the next 3 picks out there tonight.
Man you spoke of, Farron Ray, involved in that. Stephen King, the recipient of the free kick. Started on the bench, Gardner out of the ruck, having a spell. Farron Ray on cue, Alistair gets it on the wing. Held up a little, wide, Revolt, boundary line. And Warnock will be happy if Revolt leads to that spot every time.
There was good pressure from Warnock as well, just using his chest to ease Revolt under the ball. And yeah, he might be sent off for a little spell in a moment if that bleeding doesn't stop.
None of the umpires have picked up the bleeding yet. Morton off the deck. Baker, Montagna, the slap forward. Farron Ray, he takes them on. Took on Jones, looked around, saw who it was, and embarrassed him.
I think if Warnock was a more experienced defender, he'd actually point out to the umpire that this guy is bleeding, probably should have a spell on the sidelines under the blood rule.
Maybe he believes he's got Revolt's measure.
Maybe he has. I remember I pointed out to the umpire at the SCG one day that Tony Lockett was bleeding. He was not happy, it's fair to say, but it just got him off the ground for those few minutes before he came steaming back on to ease me into the fence, I think it was.
Just the 13 of 25 games last year for the Dogs, but every game for the Saints this year. Farron Ray.
I think you called it beautifully too, Dwayne. He just checked over the shoulder to see who was chasing. He saw Nathan Jones and thought, I'm okay. I've got the pace to run away, settle and still kick the goal.
Maloney's clearance marked by Bate. He's within range. 48 from goal. Gee, that would have been a spectacular clearance and goal. They've had their chances to be in front, the Demons.
Yeah. They have. He's a promising player, Matthew Bate. The one thing that lets him down at times is his foot skill.
Yeah, his foot skills, and I think we'll find him, once he can get his aerobic capacity up a little bit more, he's going to spend some time in through the midfield, or more time through the midfield. But yeah, it's both Sylvia and Bates need to take those opportunities.
Luke Ball on the screen there. Best on ground last time these two teams met. Got the 3 Brownlow votes, and it was exactly 12 months ago, around 10 last year, these two teams met last. Fisher, rolling ball. McWalter, clean ball by the bounce. Jones was able to shoot that up to Davey towards Bate. Slapped down by Raph Clark. Bate, little tap out, clever. Green. Tough ball. Miller made it look okay.
Good strength.
Sylvia, can he hit a target? Not a bad spot to go to. Stephen Martin edged out of it. Marek tries to kick it off the deck. Now 3-4 behind, but they're pressing at the moment, the Demons.
They are pressing. I also think they've been impressive the way they've started the game. They haven't taken a backward step. They haven't played just defensively. They've attacked the footy. Just lack a little bit of polish with that final kick going into their attacking 50, at times just bombing away, but you've got to like the enthusiasm, the endeavour and the intensity with which they're approaching the game. Inside
50s are 10-7 in favour of Melbourne. They'll just need reward for effort in this first quarter, just so they take some confidence into the first term.
Jason Graham back into the team this week after being dropped for not appearing at a rehab session last week. And there was a late inclusion this week. Milne is out, if you've only just joined us. He turns it over, might be a bit rusty. Sylvia over the top. Bait, high. Stephen Martin 3 to beat Baker. He met it but dropped it. Dawson, handball smothered by Davey, who plays for the 3. Jones, Blake, Montagna.
I just need a little bit of patience here. Just big numbers around for the Demons.
Montagna coming off a 33 possession game again last week, been in outstanding form, and that's a little too wide for Kazitsky out on the full.
That was well done by the Demons. Basically, they're 14 players pushing forward, put an enormous amount of pressure on the players up the field for the Saints, didn't allow the easy hit-up kick.
So Rivers wide, it would have been a free debate for hands in the back regardless, but he marked it.
Started well, Bate.
He got called to play on, nearly backtracked over the boundary. Stephen King.
Well, they'll get
Clark.
turnover here.
Demons with numbers around it. McWalter cut it off. Clark knocked it out to King. Got it to Hayes. Clever to Montagna. They got out of trouble. And Kazitsky, the diving mark. Wants to play on quickly. Does. Montagna. Geary. Sends it long towards. Got it! That's a big grab.
The only difference at this stage between St Kilda and Melbourne is a touch of class when they need it, St Kilda, particularly going forward. The kicks to the advantage of Goddard. He has a run and jump at it, whereas the long kicks going the other way are normally over the head of the Melbourne forwards and to the advantage of the St Kilda defenders. But that's a terrific mark. Should reward himself with a goal.
Coming off a brilliant 31 possession game last week, having a big season, gets his first.
And that's where it can be taxing on the young, inexperienced defence. They haven't been rewarded going the other way. They've had the inside 50s advantage against the Saints, put in an enormous amount of pressure. We've seen the last 3 times that the Saints have come out of their defensive half. The Demons have put pressure on the ball carrier, but once they've gone inside 50, it was a well-positioned kick and a very, very good mark from Brendan Goddard. And the important thing, the polish to convert the opportunity.
Was a stage when his older sister Michelle was the best footballer in the 5-kid family. Played in the girls' league in Glengarry and played against the boys as well. And taught a few of the younger boys of the family how to kick. That was a pretty good one. McLean wobbles it towards attacking 50. Jamar edged out, no free. Davey with the tackle. Stephen Graham, the umpire, leaves it. We'll have a ball up. Decided no free was warranted there. It was close. But he plays 10. 4 ruckmen go for it. McLean left it behind. Slick hands. Hayes got up. It's Fisher. Kazitsky lurking. Couldn't quite trap it. Rivers does. Grimes. McLean. Handball smothered. Grimes again. Green, Jones. Playing with some confidence, the Demons. They might be down by 10, but there's some belief there.
Just needs a hit-up target, not getting it at the moment.
Nathan Jones. And he took on Mick Gardner and thumps it. Stephen Martin, the target. 3 Saints around him. Zach Dawson into trouble. Puts Blake into trouble. To Fisher. He's in trouble. Ralph Clark and Lenny Hayes, who's about to be in trouble. Dragged down, Marriott.
Pretty outstanding.
Fantastic steal and got a kick away just in time. Good game this at the moment. Gardner, was that a throw? Did he get a hand on it? Whelan, Jones, Schneider. Del Santo tries to break free. Green does, gives to Johnson. He thumps it. It's a long and strong ball. It just misses.
And you've got to acknowledge that the Saints are 9 points up, but the chase and the team defence from the Melbourne side at the moment is outstanding. They're putting enormous amount of pressure on all of the Saints ball carriers, and there's numbers going to the contest all the time. They're trying to outnumber the Saints at every contest.
Well, Dwayne, I think you spoke to Dean Batley before the game. He mentioned tackles as one of the key indicators. Gee, the pressure they're putting on, the chase and tackle and turnover affected by Marek was a beauty.
Yeah, he did say that was the thing that he'd written the biggest on the whiteboard pre-game.
Be a few messages on that board, though, wouldn't there?
It's true. The ones in big print are the ones you have to read. The little ones sometimes, they don't apply to you. Like Chase, if you're a forward, 20 plays at 11.
Oh, geez, there's a slap. The tackle count, according to the stats, is 15-9 in favour of the Demons, but it's not just the tackles, it's the pressure, the perceived pressure that's been put on, that's been created by the tackles laid.
And that's exactly what happened there. Schneider gives it back to Raf Clark. Run down, back to Geary. Hayes. Rivers got there first but couldn't mark it. McWalter, Montagna.
Did everything right, Jared Rivers, except take the mark. He's having a little chat to the umpire, perhaps feeling he was interfered with. He read the play. He was in front of Kaczynski, led him to the ball. Unfortunately, the ball spilled over the back, and that allowed the chip to come over to Montagna.
Should kick this, although he's been on the worst side of 50-50 as a goal kicker his entire career. He's got 5 goals, 7 this year.
You got him.
Well, I actually said that he was a chance to miss. When you look at his stats, Lee Montagna, 22 goals, 23 for the past 2 seasons, 5-7 this year. It's just not his forte.
I think in 2008 he was one of the most accurate kicks over long distance in the competition.
I think he's also one of those that prefers to finish on the run than the set shot.
Yeah, and it's amazing how you put the 2 big sticks up in front of players and give them a little bit of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Burnell, a clever possession to Morton. Played on outside the boundary line, but the umpire said it was okay to Grimes. Warnock.
That's what we're talking about, one of the very good shots on goal, Jason Ackermanis. He went through a period of probably a couple of years where he's had the yips, so he took that time away and just played on every time.
Good tackle. And it's a wrap-around tackle, will get a ball up. Jaron Geary started on the bench again tonight. Chance to win the NAB Rising Star Award this year already been nominated. Luke Ball with the steal. Schneider, Montagna, Goddard. Oh, that is as good as it gets from the clearance.
You can put all the pressure you like on the opposition, but when the hands are that clean and that slick, you just have to watch and admire. Have a look at the tap. It's a turnover, nearly intercepted by Luke Ball, and then a ground ball, but 1, 2, 3. Quick slick hand passes, releases the player, Goddard running into an open goal.
Bit of class
and that's how
involved
quickly
there.
it can change, isn't it?
Enormous amount of class in that play. The spread wide of the contest, they've been very good all year at those clearances and shots on goal.
2 goals already for Brendan Goddard. 11 for the season now for him. And the biggest margin of the game so far, 16 points. We're into the 24th minute of this opening term. Hayes, Fisher, Ray, and now the Saints looking very solid and composed. Geary.
That's Hayes up to 11 disposals for the first term.
Brock McLean's had 6.
Cut off by Bell. Whelan. Back to Bell. For the turnover, now a scoring chance. Bruce, kickable from 50. That's a gem. They needed it, and the experienced campaigner gave it.
And good run of hands up the wing there, and it was good to see the Demons got a bit of class on the end of that ball, and Cameron Bruce. Some good work once again has been rewarded on this occasion by some good finishing, and that was good hands. Held the ball long enough to put Cameron Bruce into space, and the finish was very, very good from just inside the 50-metre arc.
You know it's a good kick when they celebrate as soon as it leaves the boot.
Game 194 for Cameron Bruce. Melbourne has 22 players currently that have played 200 games. Cameron Bruce and Brad Green will join that group by the end of the year. Maloney couldn't break free. Johnson does with the Goddard. Put his hands free to ball. Sylvia pushed off it. Bruce, Baker. Good tackle, Bruce. Little high, perhaps. Umpire didn't think so, and that's what counts. We'll get a ball up.
And the good part of the tackle was it just didn't steam into the back of Baker on that occasion, which you can do. You can fall forward, but he's pulled down to the left. And good execution.
Gardner, Montagna almost threw that to Baker. Gardner, gee, they're good by hand at the moment. And little fumble by hand from Goddard, as I say it. Maloney. Blake dropped it. Jones rolls it. Gardner took him on and dropped it.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks, Dwayne, the last couple of weekends, I reckon they put away the whistle with dropping the ball.
Warnock, front spot against Revolt. So a win to Warnock, wide to Morton. They can set it up on the open side. Bruce. Down the line to Bate, good hands. Dawson got the spoil in, but it was too late.
Just struggling to get a marking target across centre half forward, the D's. They're very reliant on midfield carry to break the 50-metre arc and get shots that way.
Bruce and Bate share it around. Morton caught. Couldn't get a decisive handball out. Del Santo gave it to Johnson.
Good
Doesn't
vision.
play as long and turn
Good
over. He
vision.
gives to Frawley, who can go here. He can go all the way, in fact. If he doesn't get caught, he can kick the goal from 48. Doesn't get a chance to see the big sticks. He kicks his first ever.
Terrific initiative from James Frawley. He just backed himself. He thought, I've got the pace to run away from this guy. And you've got to take your hat off to Paul Johnson. He saw it from the far wing. That is a 55-metre kick right across all the traffic in the corridor to the far side. And he saw Geary chasing him. He just took him on Frawley. And I reckon he got to the end and thought, I've nearly run too far. I better throw it on the boot quick. But good enough to finish. Terrific to see the youngster kick his first goal.
Well, he was up among the AFL's top 10 game players without a goal. 29 games now. And finally gets on the board. And he gets one back on Nick Revolt, which is nice. King, straight up in the air. They've been good, the Demons, and they're only down by 4. McLean dumped to the deck, and we'll get a ball up.
The best thing about Frawley's goal there, he risked getting caught with the ball. He took on the tackler, and he was strong enough to flick the tackler off. And just shrugged the body and broke through that 50-metre arc. Very good goal.
What about his reward for kicking the goal? He goes and has a spell now on Revolt because Warnock's off having a breather.
Has he already got his Uncle Spud covered in goals kicked now?
Certainly in class and skill.
Green with a tackle and hooks him up, and we'll get a ball up. And James Frawley last week had 4 goals kicked on him in the opening half by Lance Franklin, so he's coming off a pretty tough game last week.
Funnily enough, Uncle Spud had a chat to him before that game, Dwayne.
Just keep rubbing it in.
I dare say he needs to stay away. Just let the boy develop.
Yeah, just make sure you got the uncle's number in your phone. You just shoulder arms if it comes through. Just let it go through the keeper.
Nathan Jones getting up slowly. Saints fan as a kid, idolised Robert Harvey, as many childhood Saints fans did for the last 15 to 20 years.
Cameron Bruce has gone on to the dangerous Brendan Goddard up from the start. He's had Goddard's kicked a couple, had plenty of touches. Bruce also with the goal to his name.
Del Santo wide. Baker. Big 2 minutes coming up here in this game. High kick and a push out. Kazitsky's ball.
Goddard wants the goal.
Demons have fought hard to get back to 4 points. And there's the push. That's been a push for 150 years.
Good work. Just saw the experience of Cameron Bruce. Took the run of Brendan Goddard. Saw that had the potential to probably jump into the pack again and take another big mark, but just stopped his run and didn't allow him to have the free jump.
4 goals last week, Justin Kazitsky. Very accurate, 20 goals, 9 for the season. And that was never in doubt. Margin back to 10 points.
A fit King and Gardner allow Justin Kazitsky just to settle up at full forward, get his confidence up, concentrate on working hard in one position rather than being flicked around from centre half forward, full forward and in the ruck as he has been over the last few years. But he is a dangerous forward of that size and that athleticism to complement Nick Riewoldt and the likes of Goddard and Milne and Schneider as well. Very potent forward 50 for the Saints.
A little bit of a height disadvantage there for Jared Rivers, as you can see on Justin Kazitsky.
Well, both teams now have a loose man in defence, and the worry for Melbourne is that the loose player for St Kilda is Sam Fisher, and that's not what you want going on. At the other end, it looks like young Grimes might be the free player.
Jamar watched King run past the ball, tackled Hayes, but he got the kick away. Whelan caught, another good tackle. Jones with the kick after the tackle, but it's been marked at half-back by Frawley. Grimes. 90 seconds to quarter time. Jamar. Green. Whelan. Open forward line for the Demons. Back to Green. Looks up. He's got one-on-ones ahead of him. Marek. Fantastic grab. And a tough man to beat too, Stephen Baker.
Absolutely. Not just a tough man, an experienced man, giving away plenty of years of experience. He's hard as nails, Steve Baker, but he got out-muscled. He read the ball, he pushed Baker off, and then showed clean hands to take the ball at its highest point. And this would be a terrific goal just before the quarter-time siren for the D's. Given a lot of confidence to be within a kick of the Saints.
Bit of Jason Dunstall-like there. The two hands just pushed the chest away.
To pull it back to 4 points. Adam Marek. Adam with a double D. Threads it.
Classy young player, young Marek across half forward. Been a very good player in the under-18 system. Uses the ball so well. Didn't know about this side of his game in the contested situation under a long ball, and that's a very good contested mark. And they've got a few options up there. Obviously, over a period of time, they'll gain experience and confidence, but the likes of Sylvia and Bate, Brad Miller when he's the lead-up centre-half forward, young Marek looks quite handy.
164 games of experience up against 10 games of experience there.
Hasn't Clinton Jones come on in leaps and bounds as a stopper? He's had 8 possessions, and the man that he's playing on Aaron Davey, just the 3 touches.
I've been watching for the last 5 minutes, Clinton Jones. His work rate is unbelievable.
He works both ways.
He works extremely hard both ways, but he will chase just to close the space on Davey.
And Davey on cue gets a possession, although it's a wobbly ball. It's all about the bounce. Frawley, danger, boundary line, Kazitsky. And across it goes with 6 on the clock.
And that's the pressure that Clinton Jones put on him. He had to kick a backwards banana trying to find a teammate.
Because he knows every time he looks like getting the ball, Jones is on his tail.
Saints will be happy to go in 4 down now. Don't want to concede one. Ray on the siren. Fantastic opening term here. A 9-goal opening quarter on the...
Well, look, I think the game's changed since the years we've played. But
I know Jace used to think 10.
4 was break even.
And same as from a full-back's point of view, if you can hold some of these great full forwards to under 4, you thought that was a pretty good day at the office.
Frawley on Gwilt now. Spent some time, as we said, on Riewoldt in that opening term. Second term underway. 4 points the margin. Gardner in the ruck, but down to McLean, spins into trouble. With a kick out. Graham rolled it to half forward. Schneider. Handball not so spectacular. Del Santo, boundary line, out of play. That's a win for Whelan.
He does think. Look, one of the other things we need to remember, and again, Dean Bailey spoke about it prior to the game, their last quarters have been good. They got off to a good first quarter here. Their third quarter's been dreadful. They need a four-quarter effort if they're going to stay in touch with the Saints.
Montagna quick to Hayes, quick to Revolt. G came hard. Warnock did well there. Just got a fist in the way, but he's hurt.
There's a head clash. I think it was Whelan and Warnock have had a head clash. They're both reeling away from the contest. A bit of pain around the left side of his face for young Warnock.
And the ball up, McLean had it but lost it. Whelan gave it back to him. Dumped, no prior opportunity. Another ball up. Here's the clash.
That's just commitment. Two players going for the ball, keeping their eyes on it and not worrying about what's around them.
You need that commitment to beat a team like St Kilda. Davey didn't get a chance to use his speed there. Through the legs of Bate. Fisher wrapped up. Davey, well, he was too quick for the ball then. McLean couldn't handle it. Gwilt toes it to the line. And another stalemate. Tough, hard opening minute to this second term. James McDonald, the captain, barking instructions. Got his brother Anthony out there helping him, the runner for the Demons again tonight. Hayes short, just the 15. Goddard, 2 in the opening term. Wants to play on to Revolt. Good move.
Great pass. Just kicked the ball out in front of Nick Rewald, who was pushing hard back towards goal. Just made it very, very hard for young Warnock. It was the kick that made it near impossible to see there from Goddard. Just got penetration on his kick to get it out in front.
Kick 1 in the opening term. Nick Rewald. 29 goals, 18 for the season. And that's been the tale of his life. There's been kickable ones, there's been easy ones missed, and you would normally put that in the book. And let's hope the Yips don't come back. Been pretty good this year. 29 goals, 19 now. Five points the margin. The undefeated Saints.
Very little movement for the kick out from Melbourne on that occasion.
Jamar, they're under siege at the moment, the Saints, from the bottom team in the competition. This is first versus last, remember? And you wouldn't know that by the scoreline or the way they're playing, the Demons. Green to McDonald. Kicks to half forward and getting there again, Gilbert. Graham, open forward line again. One-on-ones, he goes a wobbly ball towards Revolt, gathers. Schneider, Gwilt. Now McWalter's in the pocket. He can open the angle, have the shot. He doesn't. Centering kick. Good fist away by Grimes. Stuffed it all the way towards the boundary. Bruce. That was Gardner's ball for all money until the fist came. And behind the play,
Downfield.
it's a downfield free.
It's probably one occasion where you just wish Andrew McCullough was a little bit more selfish.
Yeah.
He had grass ahead of him. He could have run, had a bounce, opened up the angle, kicked the goal. He tried to do the team thing, set up the big player in Gardner, and that's
about that.
not something he's going to enjoy looking at on replay or on the big screen.
You might see a bit of it in the next couple of days. And he is having a pretty good time of it this year. Michael Gardner, 10th game of the year, every game this year. From the ball in. Clean, McDonald, Morton, Johnson.
Good work from the big fella pushing up from centre half forward.
Doesn't want to just blaze away long. McLean, tough ball to win. Couldn't keep his ground. He used his body well against Ray, but then fell. Fisher, Schneider. Everyone manned up ahead of him, except for Fisher. Demons all one-on-one at the moment. Graham, and now to Gwilt, and that one-on-one with Frawley, and he wins it. Strong hands.
Once again, there's another kick into the forward 50 with penetration to really put it to the favoured side for Gwilt. And Graham's one of those players with Goddard that's got enormous penetration on their kicks, and that was a good mark in the end. But once again, the kick made it a lot easier.
Yeah, he explained it well. Put it on the space side, allowed him to use his backside to feel the player and keep that drop zone free. And Gwilt almost skims the goal post, but it's there. Kicks the goal.
You're right, Lynch. As a forward, it's all about your positioning in relation to the ball. Now, if he's got his opponent on the left, the kick's got to go to the right of the contest. That allows him to hold the player off, which is what he does. You can just see there he uses the left arm to hold the player off and then attack the football. A terrific kick from Jason Graham and an even better kick from James Gwilt. That's a beauty from there.
Come back, boys.
First goal of the night for James Gwilt.
Here we go.
11 points the margin. Biggest margin of the night was 16 points halfway through the opening term. Del Santo, King. Big pack around the contest. Carrara lays the tackle on McDonald. Ball up.
No. Settle down. King, you go.
And that is Melbourne's challenge, to be still in the contest at half-time, three-quarter time.
Yeah, you're lucky you got him in the chest, okay?
They've only won one game out of their 9 so far this season, but they've won 6 final quarters because teams have them put away by half-time and then ease up. Challenge to be in this at three-quarter time as McDonald gets a free. In fact, holding the ball.
Red hot in that one. Good tackle from Montagno. We mentioned just before the game how he averages 6 tackles a game, and that was another very effective one.
Fantastic kick to Goddard, and he'll do the same again here. Kick to the space side. Did he play on?
Cool play on.
He must have. Smother from Davey. Hayes to the hot spot. Revolt. Too good.
Outstanding.
Just too good when the kick's in space in front of him. You've got to understand how high the point is that Nick Revolt actually takes the ball, and it makes it nearly impossible when he gets a good kick like he does here after a fantastic smother from Aaron Davey. But he gets a good kick. It doesn't spin perfectly, but it's to space. Look where he marks the ball. How are you going to spoil that from behind? You've got no hope.
There's not many players that take the ball at that height. Stephen Kernahan was another one, just took it very high, hard to defend.
Missed the easy one this term and kicks the hard one. He's got 2.
So that polish and efficiency inside 50 starting to take its toll. 7 goals 4 from the 15 forward 50 entries for the Saints. Some really good work. We've seen the tackling pressure that Melbourne have put on in the first quarter has been matched by the Saints in this second term. And the class going forward has resulted in some quick goals in this third term. Nick Riewoldt looks to be in very good touch after just missing that closer shot a few minutes ago.
You mentioned grew up on the Gold Coast, Lynchy. Only missed out by a few kilometres of being a teammate of yours.
They talked about moving him up into a caravan park just north of Southport, I would have thought. Actually, I played with Nick Riewoldt. I think I played one reserves game when I was coming back from injury. We played at Broadbeach. I was the full forward and he was the, I think, 16-year-old wingman. And he looked like he had a bit of class back then as well, but we just couldn't move him up to that caravan park to get him in our zone.
No, that was the Brisbane zone system that they had back then, but the Gold Coast didn't fall into that zone. We'll get another ball up, still inside the centre circle.
Yeah, you're right.
Originally from Tasmania, though, Nick Riewoldt moved up to Queensland here when he was 9 years of age.
His 2 uncles were very, very good Tasmanian footballers over a long period of time with the Clarence Football Club in New Norfolk in Tasmania.
I think his uncle Chris signed to play with St.Kilda but never came.
Okay.
Miller.
Needs to be a good kick.
Oh, risky kick.
See if it comes off. Geary just slips that nicely to ball. He's away. Goddard, he ran back into congestion. Now to Graham. Gee, open forward line. Thumps it long. There's no one there. It's all about the bounce. It's got to roll. And Rivers can't take it through deliberately and turns it over to Geary. Kaczynski short and slips through the fingers. Little bump at the right time by Rivers. Spooned out by Riewoldt to Kaczynski. Goddard starting to find their form right now as Geary finds Graham.
What they are doing though is they're having to play some passages of very good football to get away from the Demons. They are really pushing them. And it looks like a comfortable margin now, growing out to 17 points. This could take it out to nearly 4 goals, but they are earning every single kick.
Jason Graham, another player who began his career in Queensland, a couple of games with the Brisbane Lions, misses to the near side. Behind, but it is the biggest margin of the game, 18 points.
They are working very hard, the D's, but on that occasion, it wasn't just the execution of the kick, it was the decision to go long into the centre corridor. So if you turn the ball over, your back half's just left wide open, and on that occasion, the Saints weren't able to kick the goal, but enormous amount of pressure. That's a bit harsh for 15 metres as well.
That was a terrible decision. That went 20, and Bennell had to give it straight back to Grimes.
In your back half, the 15's much shorter than your forward half, I would have thought.
Oh, he's called that early too, it's not 15.
That was 20 as well. And the smother. Revolt. And he just didn't feel right kicking that goal. They didn't deserve it.
Well, that missed by 20.
It did, and in the end, I think he made a late decision. That's gone out in the forward. He made a late decision. So instead of kicking it around the corner like he kicked the first goal in the first quarter, the first goal of the game, he tried to half straighten up and kick a drop punt and just shanked it off the inside.
So the footy gods are here tonight at the Gold Coast. And I think that's 20. It's long kick, and the mark is a good one.
There was a hand in the back there. There was definite hand in the back. It'll be interesting to see the replay here. Just the free kick will go to...
He better give it over quickly. He's going to risk 50.
Well, I'm not sure Jamar knew necessarily, but he now gives it back to Farron Ray.
Yeah, it was actually Paul Johnson that had the left hand in the back of Farron Ray.
Makes it obvious when you wear a glove like that too. That's almost out on the full. It is out on the full.
And when the player goes forward 2 feet as well, just to make sure it was seen.
Although at least he's wearing a black glove, Paul Johnson, to try and disguise it on the black jumper. And he's pushing out. Maloney. Long thump. Sylvia from 4 deep. Couldn't take the mark. McDonald. Johnson. Bell. Sylvia. Jones. Frawley. Out of trouble to Bendell, although handball just looped on him a little. Set him up. Rivers. Along the line. Miller couldn't get there. Marrick does. Great commitment from both players. Thumps it on to Bennell, and they're away here. They've got a 2-on-1, Melbourne. Bates inside 50 on his own. Martin thumps it in his direction. He has to come and get it. A kick would have been better. Bates takes them on. Centering ball, all Saints.
They just lacked some polish with their disposal. It was the kick from Bennell that didn't find Stephen Martin. It made it impossible for him to then get it on to Bates, who is the free player. They set it up beautifully, should have got a goal, but kicking skills let them down.
Now look at this attack on the ball, young Marriage for the Melbourne side, going against a very hard man in Baker, but he went in lower and harder, and the Demons gained possession as a result. Great work.
He'd be getting dirty on Marrick, I reckon, Steve Baker. That's a couple of times being touched up.
Be interesting in the next contest.
Dawson sends it in the Rewalt direction. Goddard's there as well. Good grab, getting back. Grimes been solid. Bruce. Bell.
Oh,
He took the step. First game of the year. Daniel Bell into the side this week, replacing Russell Robertson, who was controversially dropped for that poor attempted kick from the goal line on his back last week. So Daniel Bell will be hoping to hold his spot. Russell Robertson playing in the 2s tomorrow. Garden. VFL get very unhappy when I call it the 2s. In the VFL tomorrow, Russell Robertson.
Yeah, he needs to have a big one. He needs to bounce straight back. It was a bit of a slap in the face, but I think a lot of people would say not undeserved.
Another hand in the back there.
But that doesn't count in the ruck contest. It's not a rule in the ruck.
Well, you're not allowed to push in the back still.
They pay for 2 distinct, separate.
Yeah, so that's a push in the back.
Good chase down on Del Santo. He got the handball up to Hayes in time. Oh, Raph Clark left it behind. There's a half a trip on Bate, but he didn't go down. Takes them on. He'll need to roll this. Sends it long. Can he get a bounce? Oh, you betcha. It's back to 2 goals.
Richie, I think Raf Clark would like to have another crack at that one. Maybe have his time over with that football.
A look at the contest here, and you talk about the kicker knows when he's home. Colin Sylvia had the arms up, Matthew Bates, 10 metres after it hit the boot. But that's a good goal, and that is a little bit of the reward for effort we're talking about that the Demons didn't really get in the first quarter.
Good example of a kid not good enough to play for Victoria's state team as an under-18. Didn't get picked for the Teal Cup or the under-18 carnival, but ended up being drafted on the back of some outstanding form after that. And the umpire, Matty Jones, will do it all again.
A lot of people will look at that fumble from Raf Clark and they'll say, well, that's just an elementary mistake. But I think that's symptomatic of the pressure that the D's have put on the Saints tonight. They just don't feel they have the time that they're used to having to handle the ball cleanly.
Del Santo, quick to Gardner. Good. Maloney takes them on. Looks up after the bounce, needs a pass target, turns it over. All that good work undone.
Well, he was looking 60 metres away and saw that at the drop of the ball, he would have been outnumbered, or the Saints were certainly outnumbered than the Demons. Just had to a bit more composure just to think the way through, probably by hand, and then sort of attack the forward 50. But an error just caused the turnover.
Gardner and Johnson at the ruck contest. Maloney did well at the clearance, but McLean turns it over. Dawson, Goddard, Montagna. Chaos ball in the middle. Sylvia attacks it, takes them on. Whelan backtracks to Marek. And a good kick to Bate. Now he's got the spare man inside 50, if he can get it to him. McDonald looks up, he doesn't go to Bruce, heads to Davey, clean bowls him and he gets it back again. Dumped, played for the free, didn't get it. Hayes, Montagna, Graham, Jones, back to Graham, back to Montagna. And now Revolt on the march. Dragged down, appeared to get his arm slapped there. Whelan dished it up. Jones, Maloney.
Hot at the moment.
Revolt still chasing. It's a little hurt, Revolt. Green's handball put Frawley on a spot. Gets it back. Chip kick, Marek. Davey, good footer to watch. Back towards Marek. Does well, kept his feet. Hands it over to McLean and McDonald. They both went for it, both stopped. McLean to McDonald. Needs to find someone inside 50. Finds Raf Clark, who finds Farron Ray, Zach Dawson, Sam Fisher, Jason Graham, and space. You see what he has ahead of him? Some room to move. Thumps it long. Revolt gets the skates on, and Warnock's fists. Well, that's the arm slap for the one before.
Yeah, I think that might have been a making up for the arm pull before.
Gardner. Rivers and Blake. Strong hands. Jared Rivers.
They should be able to rebound here, the D's on the near wing. They have certainly numbers, just got to keep working hard, maintain possession.
They're not out of it, the Demons. They're not necessarily in it. They're 2 goals down, but boy, they're playing some good footy. Just need that polish. Del Santo. Marek,
straight back
Del
to him.
Santo. Jones. That's a strange passage to play that one. And we'll get a ball in.
A couple of occasions there, we saw the ball just given straight back to the opposition.
And it's not as if you can confuse the jumpers. 47 to 35. St Kilda Brains Trust. Ross line front square there. Good bump by Del Santo on McLean, who goes back in to make amends. And he's getting tackled. We'll get a ball up.
Some tired boys out there. It's been played at a hectic pace this first half, particularly this second quarter. Gone up a notch.
It has got. The pace is very, very high. We see the skill errors come with the intensity and the pressure. Del Santo's been pretty good with the 12 disposals. Montagna 16, and Lenny Hayes leading the way for the Saints with 20.
Ticked into time on second term. Jones, he was almost tackled before he had it there. Geary sends it inside 50. Stephen Martin. Just a half a fumble. Warnock, Rivers, Martin. Dainty little kick. Frawley. And they all need a breather.
Yeah, not a lot of options, not a lot of run coming forward of the footy.
There's no options long, just Gardner's just camped out 60 metres along the wing.
Uh-oh, Montagna runs in and misses. I think he was too spent.
And that turnover just came from pressure from the Saints, who pushed big numbers over onto the wing to not allow the long kick and movement as well. Montagna just able to cut the ball off. Just the Demons look like they're just getting a little bit tired. There's lack of movement forward of the ball.
Burnell towards Rivers. Punch is good to Jamar. Green. Johnson. What was he doing?
That's 3 times in 2 minutes.
Kazitsky. Del Santo. Revolt. Good work, Frawley. Got in front. And lets him know.
Oh. Giving a bit to Nick Revolt.
Back into play. 13 points the margin. First versus last on the AFL ladder. And the crowd here getting their money's worth. Got up, third man up, pushed out of it by McLean. Davey, not sure he thought about that long enough. Out on the full.
Well, he's now had 5 kicks, Aaron Davey, and only one of them's been effective.
Geary toward Kaziski. Maloney. Morton.
Very hard to get out of this space.
And Kaziski almost. Revolt in that 2-on-1. Shoots it back. Baker. Ball. Baker. 55 out. Caught by Marrick. Back to Ball. Sends it inside 50. Cut off by McLean.
We just saw at that last stoppage there was 30 players in that defensive 50 for the Demons, so just the hit-up targets is very difficult, especially with the intensity and the chase and tackle that both teams are putting on at the moment.
Yeah, while that was going on, every single Melbourne player was on the defensive side of the centre square.
Yeah.
Virtually in the defensive 50. So
Jones to Johnson.
You're going to see these little short chips and held up football because they've got nowhere to go forward.
Well, that's right, because the 4 Saints defenders had zoned off outside the 50, about 60 metres out, so long kick wasn't an option for the D's.
Warnock, who's backward. Frawley. 23 minutes on the clock. 4 minutes to half-time. Morton. Starting to blossom as well as a player, Carl Morton. Called to play on. Short.
Oh, he's called play on again.
He dropped it anyway.
And he mops up his own mess, Marrick. Oops. Frawley. Green. Dangerous ball in the middle, but a win would be a big win. Handball from Sylvia, just missed the target. McDonald got it on the bounce. Jones. Whelan, so it is a big win. Maloney. 3.5 minutes from half-time. Miller. Hasn't had a big night at the office yet. Possession number 3. Bait. Oh, that was almost a push there from Zach Dawson, but he played for it. And we'll get a ball in. As Brad Miller, just the 4 kicks and no goals against Hawthorn last week. Brad Miller started on the bench tonight. Just the 3 possessions so far, but he can fire. Davey inboard to Morton. Takes them on. Goes long to the square. Stephen Martin gets back and marks.
Now, what sort of finishing skills has he got? Normally a defender. In recent weeks, he's been tried up forward. He did it with a little bit of success. Kicked a goal or 2 against Hawthorn.
He's a very smart man, so you think he'd think his way through this very well.
Yeah, 99.75 VCE score. He's only been playing footy for 4 years. He's an ex-basketballer, of course.
Yeah, nothing smart about that. A one-step banana. He was actually getting advice over his shoulder, I think, from the crowd.
That was a good contested mark. Once again, one of those forward 50 entries we speak about that was very much to the side the forward was on, just so he could protect the drop zone and take a chest mark in the end.
Clark to Ball. Big hip and shoulder collision. Martin over the top. McLean. Green, he had a little stumble, but he nails it. It's back to a goal.
All clear.
But this first half's all about pressure. I mean, they have not had the polish going forward, the Demons, but they've tackled and pressured and just bumped and attacked the ball carrier for the opposition their way in this game. It was a very good finish in the end, as you called Duano from Brad Green. He's nearly fallen over his boot there and just got it on the slipper and slotted it straight through. They've been outstanding. The Saints are in front, but the Demons are throwing everything at them.
First goal of the night for Brad Green, coming off a 30 possession game last week. Neutral venue, of course. These two teams have never met here before. I think they'd never meet here again. But at the moment, the Demons doing well. Maloney to half forward. Unkind bounce for bait. Fisher, Jones, Goddard, Hayes to Goddard. Dawson. 1 goal the margin. Davey tries to get there to cut it off. Fisher. Inside 2 minutes. Goddard.
Play on, play on, play
Down
on.
Santo. See, that was a 20-metre kick as well, called play on. Clinton Jones. Just pushed on the kick and that was enough. Bruce. Can the Demons level this up at half-time? Johnson. Marrick. Oh, tough kick. He's missed him. It's gone to his man, Baker. Bell overran it. Baker. Hayes. And it only takes one turnover in modern footy. And good teams will make you pay. Gwilt to the line-up for his second of the term.
And that's Lenny Hayes' 23rd disposal in this first half. He's been absolutely outstanding.
Outstanding last week again in his 200th game. Lenny Hayes, 31 possessions. He's had an amazing season. And Gwilt, it's an amazing kick. It's lucky he even hit his boot with it. Behind.
I suggest they would be pretty happy, Melbourne, if they could stop using Paul Johnson as a distributor of the footy.
That's right.
He puts himself in good positions, but he's got to take the pressure off having to make important kicks like that and hand pass to other players who can dispose of the ball better.
Whelan.
Spoke pre-game about players playing their roles. And big ruckman, it's probably not ideal that they're the distributor of the ball.
They love to keep trying, though, Lynch.
Ball got it from Ray, gave it to Goddard, gives it back to Ray. That's a good kick to the hot spot. Gardner couldn't mark it. 8 points the margin. 23 on the clock. You wouldn't think the Demons could score. Just need to make sure they don't turn it over. Green.
Stay there where you are. Right on it. Go forward.
Seconds continue to roll. Warnock.
Stay there, Lee. Right on. Play on.
Back to Bennell.
Play on.
And they run out the remaining seconds. It was a 4-point margin at quarter time. It's double that, but it's game on. First versus last. Welcome back to the Gold Coast. Second half about to get underway. Saints by 8 points. First versus last on the AFL ladder, top v bottom, but this is game on. Bounce to restart it. Gardner and Jamar. McLean. High kick for the clearance. Bait. Can't get there in time. Gilbert does. Pursued by Sylvia. Tackled by McDonald. Dispossessed. Davey. Gilbert. Jones. And it started as it finished. A hot ball to win. Hayes. Farron Ray to the open side. Graham gets there. Made the ground. Goddard. And now Revolt used his body spectacularly well. Centering kick, tough ball to mark. Demons have the numbers. Jamar, Grimes. Sylvia. And they're continuing to back themselves. Back to Grimes. Takes on Hayes. Davies handball, just got the target. Maloney. Bruce. He turns it over. Farron Ray.
And it's just not handling the ball cleanly. It builds up the pressure on each disposal the Demons have, and they end up turning it over. It's unfortunate because they're working so hard.
Gilbert, wide, Revolt finishes the movement, and that's the cleanliness you were talking about.
That's purely and simply the difference in this match tonight. Nothing else other than cleanness of skills.
Yeah, and a little bit of class in the forward 50 with Revolt and Kaczynski, and we saw just there, we were speaking off here about Clinton Jones's work rate both ways, and we saw once the Saints got possession, he worked very hard into spaces. He's had a very good contest. He's done a great job on Aaron Davey, but his work rate back and forward is as good as I've seen for quite a while.
2 goals, 1, Dwayne, in or out this one?
I reckon this is in. It's the toughest of the lot that he's had. Can you believe that? He missed one from 30. He gets it from the boundary.
Well, that's the start St Kilda wanted. They want to put some doubt into the minds of Melbourne because they need to shake them. They're expecting to have a decent win here tonight, and they probably got caught a little bit off guard by just how committed the D's were. They must have expected a contest, but perhaps not quite what they got in the first half. Nick Revolt, that'll do his confidence the world of good every time he gets the ball now if he's kicking them sweetly off the boot. Need to rebound, need to bounce back with the next goal, the D's.
We talked pre-game. If he's kept to 4 by Warnock, Warnock will consider that a win. He has 3. 2.5 minutes in third term. Hayes went back. Gilbert attacked it. Farron Ray, bottom of the pack. McLean. A little bit of a nudge to the face. Accidentally, of course. If we drop McLean, we'll get another ball up. Gardner. Tap down, Geary. Going nowhere. Another ball up. Gardner down again to Del Santo. Gets the clearance. Rolls it through Schneider. Bouncing ball. Grimes caught into it by Whelan. Jones. Green needs to hit Jamar. And good grab.
A very good grab, important one. The spillage then would have caused the turnover as well, with the Saints numbers pushing over to the contest.
It's been good tonight for a player playing his first game of the year, Mark Jamar. He hasn't looked rusty at all. Sylvia.
He's had a couple of very good weeks in the VFL over the last fortnight.
Johnson makes the contest on Goddard. Ball out of play. Was a win. Get a ball in. 14 points the margin. Short throw in. Gardner slapped it down. Goddard strength. Hayes likewise. Gave it to Jones. Kicks it along the wing. Clean bowls a couple. Montagna. Swift. Schneider. Geary. Ray. That's a trip. Hops it over the top. Graham. He's got the sit. Good punch. Brilliant piece of work by Green. Peels back. Boundary line, his friend, has to disguise it. Comes toward the wing and Baker cuts it off. Graham. Had no one to go to.
Well, he has quickly.
After a great win, Brad Green.
Miss Schneider on that occasion, Graham.
Hayes. Revolt on the move. Got it. Just kicked one from the other pocket.
Gee, Brad Green was stiff before. No one worked into anywhere that he could get a kick somewhere near them. And he had Graham all over him after effecting a fantastic spoil. Then Graham gets the kick after the turnover and finds Revolt. A little bit unlucky. Now this, again, is the toughest kick of the night that he's had.
His poor kicks do go left to right, so he dropped the ball just inside. He could get the right shape to go in nicely here.
In-step torpedo.
Haven't seen one of those for a while.
He used to kick those at training.
Yeah, in the warm-ups, just trying to break someone's finger.
That's an in-step torp. That's come right off the instep, almost off the ankle. Turned into a reverse torpedo.
And that's why you always play in front. You just never know.
Correct.
Jones tried to get a toe on it. Dalsado likewise. A mad scramble. Goal square. Giant pack. It's like a game of Twister. And about 20 people get up and we'll get a ball up.
Once again, every player in the forward half for St Kilda of both teams.
Look at that ball up. Jamar, the knockdown. McLean got a kick away. And Jones sees it across with some help from Montagna. The Demons have led tonight. They kicked the opening behind of the game. And the Saints have led since then. They kicked the first goal.
That's dropping the ball.
They've been close the whole night. The Demons. Jones.
They're not playing it at the moment, Lynch.
No, they've gone
just play
cold
on
that one.
Play on. Goddard. Schneider. Wheeler. Sylvia. Umpire. Get a ball up.
The interpretations, certainly in the first 10 weeks of the season, have varied somewhat.
Jamar slaps it down. McLean backtracks to Bruce. Thumps it out of the area. High ball. Zach Dawson read that well. Montagna.
And that has been a bit of a problem in the first half even for the Demons. Just when they've got big numbers back trying to defend the Saints forward line, the quick long kick just goes to the Saints defenders that have just sat off the pack in space to protect.
Fisher to the pocket. Thumped away from Revolt. Bruce went for McLean. And will get a ball in.
Just while the ball goes out of bounds there, boys, Brad Miller spending plenty of time on the bench tonight. Not sure why he would be there.
Yeah, and that's a good call, Colby. No doubt he's out of favour. Started the game on the bench and didn't do much when he did come on. We've got a free kick from the throw in here, and this is a costly one. It's a shot for goal.
Geary from outside 50. Yeah, Brad Miller only had the 4 kicks, no goals last week against Hawthorn. So in selection terms, he was on death row.
Still stuck on 3 possessions tonight.
Yeah, 2 of his kicks, 2 kicks, both ineffective.
For the biggest lead of the game. For a 20-point margin, that's spectacular. The eye of the needle from Geary.
And just see the class starting to come to the top there with the Saints putting enormous pressure on. We spoke a lot in the first half about the Demons and their tackling pressure and chase as Brad Miller comes back onto the ground. But the Saints, they continue to raise the bar, and they've responded to the pressure put on by the Demons and responded with that class in the forward 50 and converted their opportunities.
20 points, the biggest lead. Dean Bailey said pre-game, spoke to us and said, third terms have been Melbourne's problem. They've only won 1 third quarter all year. And that'll be recalled, that bounce.
Yeah, and they need to get something happening right now. He's brought Brad Miller on. We just heard Lee Colbert say he's out of favour. He spent a lot of time on the bench. He needs to make his presence felt now. He's got to stand up, kick a goal or 2 for the D's.
Oh, Matty James, the ball up. Gee, ball, strength there. Shrugged Bell. Dalsado. Here they go again. Wide ball. Kazitsky on the move. Got an arm half slap there. In fact, he got an arm fully slapped by Rivers. Free kick.
He's done a predominantly very good job tonight, Jared Rivers. He's worried about the size of Kazitsky. Kazitsky's only had the 5 possessions. He's kicked the goal. You can just see he grabs the left arm, which means Kazitsky can only go up with 1. That's actually a very good decision from the umpire. He denied Kazitsky the right to fly with 2 arms. The only goal he's kicked from a free kick. He hasn't got too many marks. He's playing well, Rivers.
For number 2, bends it back. Touched on the line. A bit of post. 21 points.
To see here, and he's been doing this quite well and disguising it quite well, and using his the trunk of his body as well to push Kazitsky under the ball.
It's gone over the line here. Danny Frawley's cousin.
Gee, the umpires have been very harsh on Melbourne in that on the technical aspect. You're not allowed to have your foot on the line.
Oh, gee, that's
he must have a toe on the line there. That is technical. But the umpire was right there.
But why you go close to it, I wouldn't know. I mean, might as well come back a foot and make sure you don't have that issue. But it looked like a very harsh interpretation then.
Slap back. Morton and gathered it from McWalter's attempted handball. Revolt through traffic. Geary can't get a kick away. Still a good spot for a ball up for the Saints.
And so often we see the Saints generate a shot on goal from these forward 50 stoppages, but there is massive numbers around. Difficult to get into any sort of space.
Goddard shrugged the tackle. Jamar. Bruce lays the tackle.
Well, Lynchy, there's actually 24 people at the stoppage, and there's another dozen that are just spread in a defensive ring around the 50-metre arc and just outside. So you wonder how someone's going to get a clean kick in this scrimmage, aren't you?
Ball. Proves your point.
Doesn't look like that.
No clean kick there.
Clean
Walter.
possession.
And across the face from Raf Clark, and Davey sees it roll through.
He's paid the mark. Paid the mark.
Straight down the corridor.
Good kick. Quick handball, that's the one.
Miller back on, but he's turned it over.
But that's typical of the one.
Gilbert pokes it back. Geary's in the pocket. Big fly, Bennell. Ball hits the deck. Geary gives it to Goddard. Threads it through. Gwilt. Del Santo. Centering kick. Revolt. Beaten for it by Jamar. Good attack by Bell. Throws it out to Maloney. And they're clear.
This is the possession.
He's dropped it. McWalter.
He's
Back
hurt
to
himself,
Clark,
McDonald.
and now a Revolt from the pocket.
McDonald went down and held the left knee when he spilt that one. Seems to be in a fair amount of pain. But they just can't get out. Have a look at the replay here. Oh, he's fallen across that left knee on that occasion. So fingers crossed there for McDonald. But that does not look good. Rewell will have another shot. Similar sort of spot.
Schneider wants the hand pass. Last time he kicked from here, it was a reverse torpedo. That's better.
Out.
That's a spear. They lead by 27.
And that's once again, reward for effort. The Saints are just not allowing the Demons to get the ball out of their defensive 50. So have a look at the injury here to James McDonald.
Oh, that is the angle you do not want to see.
That was the fear.
Came in from the side, snapped straight, hyperextended, had angle from the side. That could be anything.
Well, we saw last week.
We hope it's not the worst, but that looks terrible.
We saw Jared White last week. That's not good news for James McDonald. We saw Jared Waite last week with that hyperextension in a different incident. He was just landed incorrectly. On that occasion, someone was fallen across his left knee, so that doesn't look good. And we'll wait to see from Lee Colwood if he can get any information throughout the remainder of this quarter on that injury as we look again.
Oh, you just don't want to see that anymore.
And when you see three former footballers all turn their back on the screen up here in the commentary box, it's no good at all.
We'll show you that one more time, sure.
No, you will not, Dwayne.
From the ball up. Jamar. The tunnel back, Morton. Goddard. Geary. Revolt. It's getting better by the minute.
This will test his range because he'll have to kick from 55. Now, the loss of McDonald, whilst he hasn't been a super player for Melbourne tonight, he was shadowing Nick Del Santo, and he was keeping the influence of Del Santo to a reasonable level. 19 possessions for Del Santo, but low efficiency in terms of his disposals because of the attention McDonald was applying.
The inside 50s are really starting to go in favour of the Saints. It's 8-0 in this third term.
Take a big kick.
For number 5. Oh. Geez, got onto it. That is long. And it's marked on the line by Kazitsky.
Free kick.
Push
against Kazitsky.
He can't believe it. He thinks it's his.
Jared Rivers' ball.
You're pretty stiff. Take a contested mark amongst about 20 players down there.
Tell you what, you can see whose side the crowd's on. It's against Goddard.
Goddard, yeah.
There's nothing to do with Justin Kazitsky. That's Brendan Goddard. 2 hands in the back of Jared Rivers.
Wouldn't be happy if you're Kazitsky.
Oh, no.
And wait till they do the tape review during the week. There might be a payback for that.
Yeah, you won't need the tape to remind Kazitsky of who gave that free kick away. I wouldn't suggest. This has been the possession that Melbourne have struggled with. Just can't get it forward of centre efficiently. There's a free kick against Sylvia, I would have thought. Oh, no, it's gone the other way.
Mark Jamar just came to the Melbourne bench, got turned back and gave a fearful spray after the effort that he expended getting there, and then had to turn back and run forward.
Miller. Bruce. 27 points the margin. Burnell. McDonald walking around, which is good news. Martin caught, almost threw that out. Green, Burnell, little fumble, being tracked down, he's turned it over. Del Santo, oh, and there's open paddocks ahead. Graham looks up, Revolt leads into one of them. Kaczynski's peeling back.
They're outnumbered long. Graham's going to have to carry the ball.
Well, he can. Del Santo could go to 50 here, sends it long. Kaczynski, big fist. Kaczynski peeling back, it rolls through, and great commitment there from Grimes.
It was. Terrific effort because Warnock, who was covering Kaczynski at the time, was caught out. He left his man, came over the top with the big fist. A terrific spoil.
Third terms have been their problem all year, Melbourne. They've won 6 of 9 last quarters this year. Almost a turnover again. So they do play games out, the Demons, but games that Demons have played in this year have normally been over by three-quarter time. Teams do ease up. Montagna, Fisher, Gilbert, Lenny Hayes, Fisher, Raphael Clark, Farron Ray, couldn't take the mark. Whelan, Morton, Bruce, Bell, bait, bang.
Hospital hand pass.
Farron Ray picks it up. The Saints can reload. Zach Dawson. They come to the open side. Blake.
Just the hand pass goes too high. He's waiting for it, and he gets driven into the deck.
The ribs are open there.
You can bet Steve Baker enjoyed that one.
Goddard centering kick, and Hayes and Dawson messed that up a little. Montagna mopped up their mess. Baker back to Hayes. He's having another party, Lenny Hayes. Long kick, goal square. Kaczynski couldn't get near it.
Oh, hit a target, please.
Johnson, Sylvia, Green.
He works hard and he's terrific the way he gets in great positions.
Geary!
I
Big
landed on it.
collision, Miller. He was straight off the bench. Fisher, Hayes, Geary's bounced up, and he's been dumped again. 2 in 10 seconds.
Well, there's actually 3 off the ball. He got Robert as well.
Got him.
So it's 3 in 10 seconds. He's been smashed.
Here's the mark, and Miller lands on him, and then as he gets up, you can see Mark Jamar just to the
coming
right.
into space. Here you go,
he
down.
gets him as well. See you later.
Oh, the life of the little bloke. But you called it before, Dwayne. The Saints were just reloading to enter their forward 50 again. They've just got no answers at the moment, the D's. They're just under that much pressure. The team defence philosophy of the Saints is really starting to grind the Demons.
Jones to Burnell to Frawley, all the way back to Rivers on the opposite side. Now Whelan, an opportunity to go here. Montagna corrals him. Heads towards Miller, had a good piece of it, gathers the crumb, caught, slung. Whelan left it behind. Gardner, nicely through traffic. Hayes another possession. Graham, McWalter. Back to Graham. And this is the St Kilda we know. This is the undefeated St Kilda. Graham, great chase. Fantastic chase, Frawley. Ball turned over again. Frawley gets it, gives it out.
Now,
Bell.
Bad news in back play. Gilbert down. It looks like it's a knee or an ankle, but a fair amount of concern from both Gilbert and the trainer.
He's in pain. They're calling for the stretcher. He goes up here.
Oh, ankle.
Oh, gee, it's on. It is on big time out there still. 28 points to margin, and the Demons don't believe this is over yet. Now, will they call the stretcher? They're down to 17.
He's just getting up to his feet now, Gilbert.
Farron Ray from 55, goal square. Rivers. Burnell. McLean.
Well, this is a good sign, Gilbert. I mean, he's limping badly, but he's at least slowly jogging from the ground.
Johnson.
And we hope it's just a sprained ankle.
Maloney.
That would be the best case scenario.
There's a little bit of pressure on at the moment for spots in this team, which is healthy for St Kilda. Short pass is good to Sylvia.
Well, there's a bloke called Manny Maguire running around it in the VFL that'd love a go, Dwayne.
Yeah, there's a bloke by Max Huston who'll be unhappy you didn't mention him, Jason. Del Santo.
Completely forgot about Max.
Oh.
Well, we haven't seen him all year, have we, Maxie?
Well, we talked about him pre-game. Well, I did. He
Fisher.
just dropped off.
Sorry, Max. Sorry, Max. You're first up.
Oh, Goose is filthy on you.
Goose is waiting for another one to go down now.
Farron Ray, and by the way, Stephen Milne not playing tonight. He'll be back in next week, you'd think. King. High kick. Geary. Goal square. Getting back. Johnson again.
The back line standing up as best they can for the D's. Absolutely under siege. The forward 50s are 14-2 in favour of the Saints. The two Melbourne forward 50s have only gone to the 48-metre mark and rebounded straight out.
Green. We'll go to you, Colby, whenever you're ready with an update.
Made it some great news. James McDonald's back on the ground, boys. So that little clash with Andrew McQualter, I think he just didn't have his weight on his left leg. That's why he's clear and okay. So great news.
Good work, Colby.
That's extraordinary after we saw the impact.
Oh, yeah, didn't look good.
Here he is.
Good chance here. McDonald gets caught, but it'll come back. No advantage.
And it would have been to Whelan's advantage, the kick.
Whelan's left the ball. He's thought it's a St Kilda free kick, but all that's done is waste a little bit of time and just allowed St Kilda to get all bar one of their players back in that defensive half just to block it up.
A few players happy with the breather. Few of them spent. 23 minutes gone, third term. 28 points to margin. Bait. Told to go. Throws it up in hope. King, Dawson, they all leapt. Whelan had a chance and dropped it. Ray, McWalter, the 1-2 back to Farron Ray. And they're away to the open side. Blake trying to create the loose man. Takes on Jones. There's some arrogance. Montagna takes them all on again. Kick smothered. Sylvia. Can they make something of this, the D's? Cut it back to 22. Handball to Jones. Into the pocket. Goes for goal. Kicks across the face. Worst possible result.
Well, I think there was 5-on-1 forward of the ball there for Jones, so he had not too many options, just had to score.
It's the only thing they haven't done this quarter, Melbourne, is get a couple of goals on the board. It's been the same sort of contest as the first two quarters, but they've been unable to fashion a couple of goals.
Well, the game's been played in the Demons' back half.
Well, they haven't scored at all this term, Melbourne. Came in with 6-6. They got 6-6 now as Bennell seeks and finds the line.
That was the deepest forward 50 entry they've had in the turn. The others have just gone in and rebounded straight back out.
Umpire Matty James too good for Bennell there. That was deliberate and he knew it. Blake's free. 24 minutes gone. Del Santo, and there's the signal. I've seen the signal so far tonight.
It's not one that thrills fans, Dwayne, when they see it.
Baker. So possession football is what that signal is all about. Fisher. And that means that the Demons, if they want the ball back, have to come and man up.
Correct.
Yeah, they've got to push up, find a man, and not allow the chip in around. So, although the Melbourne supporters get a little frustrated with this, the Demons can change things by pushing up.
Short to Goddard. Everyone manned up now. Goddard thumps it long. Gee, Luke Ball got out on his own, got away from McDonald, whose knee might still be bothering him. Luke Ball got 5 yards quickly there. Kosicki peels back, runs in, caught, got a toe on it. A behind,
That'll be
and
free
maybe a
That
free.
should be a free kick.
Yeah, it will be a free kick, surely.
It's not. He knew he was well through for a behind and he still threw him to the ground just because he had a little bit of frustration creeping in because he got chased down when he thought he was going to kick a goal. Have a look at this. He knows he's got him there.
Oh, well, that's a change of
dangerous.
interpretation. That's what the rule was brought in.
That's dangerous. That should be a free kick.
Well, that breaks his shoulder. That's weeks.
Well, that was
Nearly slammed
definitely
his head down.
free kick in the first 2 months of this season.
Jones called to play on. Growth to Whelan.
Well, they They've got a loose player out here on the wing in Maloney, but they haven't seen him.
Sylvia back to Whelan, who sees him now.
Now he does.
Puts it to him. He calls Green in. Says go. He gives it to Maloney. Forced to go back onto the right. Short kick. Good kick, Marek.
He should have a shot.
They
Unselfish.
just can't hit the targets, unfortunately.
It's been the tale of the year and the tale of the night. McWalter.
Some of it skill, some of it decision making. It's a shame because they've been so good tonight.
Goddard. Inside a minute to three-quarter time. Miller. Now Morton inside 50. That was an important kick. Couldn't find the target. And ball almost a free against Jamar. Still a chance for the last score of the term. Melbourne, they are yet to score in this quarter. And we've played 27 minutes.
Back to the drawing board for Dean Bailey in his third quarters, I think, Dwayne.
Yeah.
Oh, we're just moving the magnets around the board, just seeing what works. Hayes has dominated the quarter again with Del Sando, both 9 disposals. Farron Ray is 9 as well.
Marek bounced the ball to himself and then missed. Bruce with a handball. Another example. Shuffled out to Blake. Montagna. Seconds continue to roll to three-quarter time, and there might be a late St.Kilda score. Montagna quick. Kaczynski just pushed and ridden a bit by Frawley.
Oh,
And a 50 there would have put him in scoring range. Del
Got to hold it
Sando.
up, got to hold it up, and they'll get the siren, the D's.
D's got big numbers back, so
Three-quarter time at Carrara. The Saints led by 4 points at quarter time, 8 points at half-time.
we'll hope that that knee's intact.
Interesting, it looks like the D's have swapped their key defenders around. Rivers has gone back onto Revolt, and it's Warnock that's come out onto Kaczynski. There's James McDonald, just
Banana.
a little bit of loading up. A few carbos into it.
Sam Gilbert, boys, also running up and down the boundary line up the other end for the Saints, so that's great news for him.
Yes, for all the supplements they've come up with over time. It's fantastic things you can buy in packets. Still can't beat the banana. God got it right, didn't he?
He did.
Nailed it.
But Melbourne needs something out of Aaron Davey. He's got to find a way to shake tags because he's getting a lot of attention now as he's playing more in the midfield.
Or at Evolution, get it right. Anyway, we'll argue about that later. Jones, caught by Montagna. Going nowhere. Ball up. 29 points the margin.
And Aaron Davey, as you touched on, has got to work very hard to
12
get away from the tag. But also, he'd just like a few of his teammates to help him out. They know he's one of their important ball carriers. Give him some space, put a few blocks on.
Jones finds Morton. Bounce on the slippery deck. Little slap on
Nice.
from Davey. Bruce runs to 60. Can they get the first of the term? Pokes it over the top. Well, we haven't seen much of Miller. He gets his chance to make his moment.
Yeah, great opportunity here, Brad Miller. He's had a dirty night, but you can get rid of that. You can get rid of the first three quarters. If you start with a bang in the last quarter, get your confidence up, might end up kicking a couple of goals and getting something started for Melbourne. It can all hinge on one good straight kick here. One thing about Brad Miller is his work ethic. His work rate won't drop off. He just needs something to turn for him.
Just the 3 kicks and no goals yet. Not bad off the boot. But not good enough. Still goalless. Goddard.
Well, it's a positive sign nevertheless. They didn't score in the third quarter. At least they created a scoring opportunity. They need to create a lot more.
Del Sando finds Fisher.
Yeah, the Demon Zone's just happy to concede that short one to Del Sando in the pocket.
Not 15 again. Dawson. To Blake. Back to Fisher. And it misses
Pressure.
Hayes. Marek. Bait. Set it up for him. Sylvia. Whelan. Back to Marek. To Johnson. And he sold the dummy to a few. Sends this long. Getting back Blake in the hole. Good work from Baker.
Yeah, good work
Green
from
off the
Baker.
ball.
You called he sold the dummy to a few, Paul Johnson, but the kick wasn't to the advantage of the forward line.
Ray. Schneider. Revolt up the field a little. Had a reasonable night at the office. Hasn't dominated, but geez, been important, Nick Revolt. It's 3 goals so far. Bruce, wide, Johnson. Sorry, 4 goals so far. Should say for Nick Revolt. Sold him on short.
Kick. Numbers inside.
Bell, Sylvia. So they've got the numbers. Marek needs to finish this. Takes on Blake, runs around him. Say no more.
Marek, plenty of zip there, and usually his kicking skills are up to that challenge. Convert those opportunities at 9.5 times out of 10, I would have thought.
2 early scoring opportunities. Tells the tale. 2 goals, they're right back in it. 2 points. Still trying to get a sniff.
Goddard, 2 goals tonight, both in the opening term.
Possession number 23. He's really gone to that virtual elite level, hasn't he, Brendan Goddard, this year?
Fisher, possession number 20. Zach Dawson, who has kept Hudson and Maguire in the reserves this week. Zach Dawson has been a good story that continues.
Who's next in line in the pecking order, Dwayne?
Well, you've just
I'm asking
cooked a
Dwayne.
couple of them.
Hudston's well ahead.
Thank you, Lynchy.
Alphabetical order-wise.
Yeah, I would have thought Hudson.
Fisher gets it back from Goddard.
Cool play on. That's
play on,
holding the ball
play
there,
on.
surely.
Yeah, I think you're right, Lynchy. That's ball. Gee.
That's just the umpire giving him the benefit of the doubt there. It just had to be holding the ball.
And we've talked about this before, about the mark. Oh, I thought it was a mark up.
Of course you did.
From the ball up. Hayes.
Possession number 32.
Bit of courage
Schneider
here.
comes hard. Well done, Bruce. Bell. Grimes.
Get out of the way, umpire.
Sylvia. Bennell.
Some pace here.
Handball to Bruce. High kick towards Green. Edged under it. Thump clear. And Dawson wins it again. Farron Ray. They'll reload. Grant. He joined us late. He was the late inclusion for Stephen Milne. Ball towards the wing. Well played, Grimes. Another handball. Jones. Davey. Johnson. Maloney. To Bennell. And outreached by Farron Ray.
Was that poor kick into the forward 50? We've seen actually the last 3 forward 50 entries have sat the ball on top of the head of a 5'10" forward.
Brad Green, the long high kick's not suiting him, and that one there blazing away by Maloney.
Hayes, Revolt, Graham, Schneider.
Oh, dangerous here.
Look at the
Kaczynski
open
one-on-one.
line. Here he comes.
Kaczynski, tough one to grab. Oh, he's knocked that. McWalter from 40. He can't finish.
I'd like to see the replay of that Kaczynski knock. McWalter was in great position. We saw Kaczynski last week just with the back of his hand flick one out to Stevie Milne in the last quarter to pretty much ice the game. He gets down well for a big fella.
Davey, indecisive.
Yes.
Demons still haven't kicked a goal in the second half. Davey short, Maloney. Chip kick's okay. Bait.
Just no one up the line whatsoever.
It's held up. Goddard corrals him. Dangerous spot to hit, but does okay. Grimes gets it back. Warnock. Morton.
Got to run and carry.
Short to Johnson.
Oh, no.
They've owned a lot of the ball in this fourth term.
Here's
Just
the
can't
kick.
convert.
The kick inside 50.
Jones long and a good punch by ball away from McLean. Out of play.
Is that little knockout? Probably gave him a little bit too much credit, but he got it up in front.
Flick back. Baker hunts it down. Body on the line. Maloney tries to hold him up. Graham shoots it out. Del Santo. Farron Ray.
Great tackle.
And Bennell rewarded. Will have the shot from 45.
Well, symptomatic of the way they played, isn't it? Their endeavour's been fantastic, and it'd actually be a little bit ironic if that was the way they got the goal that got them going. The thing that kept them in the match in the first half was their pressure, their commitment to tackling and chasing and harassing, and Jamie Bennell has given himself an opportunity. Can he finish with the kick that he needs?
He's lively. He's got some pace, Bennell.
Yeah, young player, 18 years of age, rested a couple of weeks ago.
That hasn't made the
And
difference.
no one's on the goal line for the Demons. King marks with ease.
Well, the clipboard might have been thrown in the coach's box there. Just have no one on the goal line to make a contest.
Dawson got it from Clark.
It's a twofold
Back
thing.
again.
I think he was entitled to make the distance from where he was with the kick, but criminal not to have someone tall on the line.
Bate got his leg held. Morton pops it up, and that's been paid 15. Grimes.
Now they're on here.
McDonald.
He turns and looks.
Well, Stephen Martin was on his own for a while. Didn't want to come wide. Straight down the corridor. Big lead from 5. Bennell knocks it to his own advantage. But had the numbers again, the Saints. Baker and Gilbert see it out. We'll get a ball in.
This is the kick from about 48 metres. Nobody.
48 metres, and I suppose you've got to know the capabilities of your teammates as well. Look to be on his limit.
Turnover. Luke Ball. Handballs at the back of the hand. McWalter. Jones.
Got some
Takes on
pace.
Davey. Caught but got a handball out. Revolt caught by Frawley. He threw that out. Grimes. Jones. Still a good contest. McLean. Green. Thumped away from him. Miller dives in. Green lays a rollover tackle. Bit of WWF there. They'll get a ball up.
A good chase from Aaron Davey through the middle of the ground there. Hasn't had his biggest stats night, but still plenty of chase on that occasion.
Johnson's kick smothered. Luke Ball. Geary. And Goddard. Asked the back. Got around. Gave it to Ray. Back to Geary. Revolt. Possession number 19 coming up. And it's a 70-metre thump. Martin gets back for the spoil. Montagna from 60. Not bad. Not good enough. Behind.
Just haven't been able to land the knockout blow, the Saints.
No, Melbourne well and truly have been for about 40 minutes up against the ropes.
But the later it's got, the better they've looked, St Kilda, which is often the case on the Gold Coast, they say. Bruce.
Oh, must have had it in the lights.
Drops the mark. Whelan. Bruce. Whelan. Turnover. King. Call to throw. Here he gives it back. Osline on his feet. Yeah, it's a throw. Morton. So the Demons will still be bottom of the AFL ladder. The Saints will remain undefeated.
Catch that.
High kick to the wing. Stephen King waits under it. 29 points to margin. 11 minutes to go. Dawson, King, chip kick, Hayes.
Number 34, Lenny Hayes.
Schneider lets it slip. Bennell. Rivers, did he take it out? Boy, he's taken out anyway. And we'll get a ball in. The pack. Martin to McDonald. And now Sylvia gets through ball. Hands to Bennell. Heads wide. Jamar lurking. Gets there.
Well, paid the hold, but it was a very good mark and a good kick out in front of Jamar from Bennell. Just allowed him to run out and protect the area where the ball was going to drop down. Take a nice mark in the end. Good pace, Bennell. He looks like he's going to develop into quite a handy player.
Well, just under 10 minutes on the clock. If he kicks this, it's inside of 4 goals.
Been done before, but
been
Not
done
necessarily by last on the ladder against first.
but it has been done quite a few times this year too. We've seen some late rushes, haven't we?
Mark Jamar. For his first goal of the year. It bends and it drifts, and they still are without a goal in the second half, Melbourne. It's pretty hard to win games when you do that. A few faithful come to watch the Demons tonight. Demons have Collingwood at the MCG next week, then Essendon at Etihad Stadium. It's their next 2 assignments. The Saints have their next 4 games at Etihad. Wide ball, Schneider.
Nice.
Saints have North Melbourne, Carlton, Richmond, and the Geelong game, which wasn't moved to the MCG this week. Schneider wide. Rolling ball. Bruce, boundary line, keeps it in. Stephen Martin to Frawley. Sylvia ran into a roadblock. Bell. Warnock. Rivers. Jones. Rivers, can he hit the target? Bate is the target. Montagna gets back. Just worried him out of it there. Did enough. Bate goes back in. McDonald, Graham, Montagna. The only one to keep his feet. Hands over to Baker, and the Saints are away again. Del Santo throws it up. Getting back and taking the mark, Gardner. Revolts back toward the square. He's about to lead short to the hole, I think. No. Puts it up long, hoping for Revolt. Kosicki, he flies back of the pack. Behind. 29 points. These 2 meet again in round 22, so you would think the Saints are going to play in finals. This will be the Saints' last assignment before they head into September, a clash against the Demons. To the MCG, that one. Shortish kick towards the boundary, ball in.
Jason Graham just came from the ground. He's had 20 disposals and has worked fairly well tonight after being a late inclusion for Stephen Milne.
You would think some of the Saints will start to be rested in this last 5-minute period. Goddard thrown out by Martin, found Jones, who finds Bate. Miller. Green calls for it long, but McLean's held up. Handball didn't really put him in space. Sylvia.
Open forward line.
And Tackett on the kick. Turnover.
Doesn't matter now.
And there was 3-1 in that area around Gwilda as well, but just went straight to the Saints player.
Baker to Gilbert.
Good to see him up and about, having a bounce on a run after that scare with the ankle.
And a big load up towards Revolt. Thumped away by Johnson. And Warnock might be content to see this across. He does. And we'll get a ball in. 16 minutes gone. 6 minutes 41. And some change remaining.
The life of a forward.
Yeah. It's the life of a very good forward.
Yeah.
2 on 1.
Good of James Frawley. You get away with whatever the umpire lets you.
Schneider with the stab. It's the post. 30 points. Even 5 goals. Ball, turnover, Gwilt throws up the handball. McWalter pounces. A little bit of icing on the cake here. Sends it long. Revolt, Shepherd. And that's another thing good forwards do. McWalter with the goal.
More and more in this second half, or as the game goes on, just the D's are just starting to have those unforced errors. Another kick-in error on that occasion. And the class of the Saints just starting to come to the top. And McWalter on that occasion has kicked 1 goal, 1 for the night. Been quite a good player, had the 14 disposals, and they're just kicking their way clear. Still, the D's haven't scored a goal in the second half.
First goal of the night for Andrew McWalter, and the Demons are just sandbagging against the Tide right now. Saints have got it wrapped up. 36-point lead. Demons just hoping to not let it blow out. Maloney to Sylvia. Inside 50. Hands in the back. It'll be Bates' ball.
Looks like Bates got that one.
Got a wry grin on the face, Jason Blake. Again, something that gets paid well, hard to pick there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They can't believe it.
Maybe a little bit of a consolation prize coming up. Matthew Bate. No, he's only just scraped that in for a score.
Still no goal.
One in the second term, and as you said, Lynchy, it's been a drought in this second half. Saints have only kicked one goal in this term, and we're now 19 minutes into it.
And they haven't kicked a goal in the second half, Melbourne, but whilst they were scoreless in the third quarter, they have created a number of quality goal-scoring opportunities in the last quarter. It's just been poor kicking for goal.
You think
I think it's been 4 that they should have kicked.
Yeah, and with that, on top of if they happened to, it's always easy to say, if they had a big centre forward to take a couple of those clunking marks, it'd raise the confidence of the team around him. And they'll be looking forward to filling that position over the next few years.
Zach Dawson long, Schneider knocks it down to Geary. 2-on-2 here. Training drill. 2-on-3. There's the handball up. Jones. Good. Schneider, they've worked that perfectly. Geary thumps it long. Revolt, can he get a run on it? Good fist from Forley.
Done well
to
for
Grimes. Jamar. Whelan.
Be quick here.
Frawley. It's his third effort in this string. Goddard to Del Santo. And he misses. And they could be a lot further in front, St.Kilda.
Oh, yeah, I think their backline has basically done very well. When they've been under in this second half an enormous amount of pressure, the ball has just been flying inside 50, and they've resisted the actual flood, as you said, Dwayne, the flood of shots on goal very well.
Whelan.
But this has been the hardest thing for the second half, actually getting out of the back half.
Morton. And getting out of the back half again. Here's the problem. Getting out of the back pocket's the problem right now. Davey.
It's absolute credit to the Saints, how hard they work forward at the ball. They push big numbers up. They're not allowing any space to the Melbourne players at all.
Bell, good mark. Rewalt having a rest, and they'll start to put a few of the stars in cotton wool, you'd think now. Inside 4 minutes to full time. 36-point lead. They joined us late. They only led by 4 points at quarter time, 8 points at half time, but big third term blew that margin out to 29. Currently stands at 36. Just want to get home without any injuries now, the Saints. McDonald. Wide ball, tough one. Bate sees it out of play. In fact, if you could take 7 or 8 off, they would. From the ruck, Martin down to his own advantage, kicks around the body, lands across the face, and we'll get another ball in. What have you made of the crowd tonight, guys? It hasn't been spectacular, but they'd be reasonably satisfied, the AFL.
That 9,000 or 10,000 mark, I think if they got over
There you go.
10 or 11,000 would have been handy, but 9,000 people, not a bad crowd, seeing though there's no Brisbane Lions, just 2 Melbourne-based teams here.
This is the best team in the competition, though. Kazitsky.
Debatable.
Yeah, well, if it's not the best, it's the second best.
Yes, I'll go with that.
Walter. And it's probably not the worst team in the competition either. I know they're bottom. Kazitsky runs into trouble. Del Santo dragged down. Held up. Ball up.
So Matty Whelan's rugby
That
background
just
from the
cut him in
Northern
half.
Territory just took the legs.
Cut him in half. Look at him get down low. That's a rugby tackle. And just dropped him a treat.
And Melbourne probably need to translate their improvement into a win at some stage soon as well. We know they've improved a bit. Theoretically, they've improved, but physically, when it comes to the ladder, they're still bottom. Goddard sends the ball inside 50. Little tap, Rivers. Morton, danger. Good, bumped out of it. Davey, goose steps through a couple. Throws it out to Morton. We're down to 2.5, not 15. Maloney threw it up to Ray. Back to Maloney. Caught, dispossessed. McWalter, Geary, Jones, Gilbert. Danger here, Gardner. Warnock. Gardner falls. Was that a free? And now is it ball? He fell on it. He was pushed into it. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The umpire pays neither.
I reckon he might have been a bit stiff, Michael Gardner. A little bit of holding, and then if that's not in the back with the knees falling in the back, I'm not sure what is.
Well, it had to be one or the other, surely. Either he was pushed in the back or he fell on it. And they'll get it regardless, the Saints.
The big fellow, Jace. Ruckman getting involved.
It's hurt them a bit, some of those turnovers.
Ralph Clark. Late inclusion last week with Jason Graham dropped. Kept his spot on the team. Graham in tonight. More pressure on spots in the team, as we said, which is a healthy position to be in. Goddard all the way back. Fisher. Zach Dawson. Goddard being put in cotton wool as we speak. Ball close to Del Santo. Gathers. Shoots a handball out. Jones. Oh, he sold the dummy to a couple. Thought about going for goal. Heads inboard towards ball. Unselfish. Behind.
Goddard came off. Lenny Hayes went back on. He's had a big night. 34 disposals. Looks like Nick Rewalt's ready to come back on as well.
Could you accidentally make a mistake and just not put the ball back out there?
I reckon you could. Goddard had been off for a few seconds before Hayes went on. Looked like there had been a discussion whether we go with 17 for a couple of minutes.
Sylvia caught, good tackle. Bennell, slippery as ever. Hamill not so good. Fisher, we're inside a minute to full time. Dawson. Possession number 19 for Zach Dawson. Revolt.
How have you seen his re-emerge, Jace? Obviously, you saw a lot of him at Hawthorn. He seemed to have slotted in beautifully into this back half for the Saints.
He's been great, and I think he's been allowed to get his confidence up playing a terrific back six that's been on top every week. They have a great setup, a great structure, plenty of good players around him, and quite often when there's dangerous forwards, St Kilda manufacture that 2-on-1 in defence. And I think he's just growing with the confidence every week. He seems to get better, making the most of his opportunities, Zach. Making it very hard for Ross Lyon and the match committee to leave him out, even when the other players are available.
Another emphatic victory to the Saints. Undefeated after 10 rounds. Over to you, Geelong. St Kilda, 37-point victors, 11-17-83 to Melbourne. Without a goal in the second half, 6-10-46.